Rightio. Okay, just check mic. So, yeah, okay. Right. I'll go through my loadout. It was easier than trying to send you a load of pictures. But my plan is, as we all get better than this, whenever anyone finds something that's working, we just share it. 'Cause that means when we go into the team battles, we'll all do better. So at the minute, I feel like I found a bit of a breakthrough. I was absolutely murdering with this build last night. It's really good. I know I've kind of text, so even though it is the MP5, there's probably other submachine guns that are equally as good just on base. But the reason the MP5 is better is because all the extra things you can add to it make it way, way better. And I have two, so I have the close one which I used all night, but it's quite easy just to get a little bit more distance. There's other guns, so the Mac 10 is also incredible for close range, but it's very hard to handle. So at a further range, even if you put the scopes and stuff on it, I feel like a lot of the other slots then are taken up with you trying to compensate for using it. The assault rifles are good, but what I find between them is the Krieg 6 was the one that I was using, and while it's good all round, it's definitely can't compete with the MP5 when you get close, and a lot of the battles are close. And at the same time, it's fine at a distance, but it's still not great. Whereas the MP5 is really good at close range, so I would be choosing that over there, because with a couple of attachments, the MP5 is good at distance. It wouldn't be as effective as the Krieg, but it more than makes up for it everywhere else. So yeah, that's why I think it's good. It's great. So the beauty about the MP5 is that it handles well. So the main things that are shitty about it is initially the ammo runs out straight away, so you'll need to kind of mod up for extra ammo. The damage, you need to unlock a few barrels to get a bit of extra damage, and I think that's about it while I go through it. They're very easy to compensate for. So this is the loadout I was using last night, and like it's unreal, but it's actually because I found one attachment, which I'll go through when I get to the attachments that are amazing. So I'll start with the wildcard because this affects how your whole build comes together. So I use perk greed, which gives me an extra perk from each category. The other stuff is fine, but this one is awesome in the sense that I still have good mods on my weapon. But so these are to run. Flak jacket, so I take less damage from explosives, Molotov explosive, grenades and everything. I can take way more damage when people are throwing them, and tactical things like gas doesn't bother me, flashbangs don't really affect me that much. Like that's key when I'm running around and people are leaving gas mines and stuff, so that's explosives and gas that I can avoid. This one I think is totally underrated. This is brilliant. So what this does is you get your mines or your radar or whatever your field upgrade is, it comes back really quickly. So if you're holding down a room or you're getting overrun, you get your gas mines back quicker, or your proximity mines, or if you've got a radar to hide yourself. So this one I think can really affect the way that you're playing, because if you're at the point where you're getting killed all the time and you're like, right, I'm going to slow down, you can get the trophy system on, which means that nobody can throw grenades at you, so you can hold a room, or you can put the radar on there if you want to play a little bit more sneaky. And scavenger doesn't really bother me. Like, you pick up ammo most of the time, you get killed so quickly that you don't really need this. But if you do go on a run, particularly with the SMGs that blaze through ammo, I find that this does come in pretty good every now and then. So that. And then these hide me. So I've got ghosts, so I'm undetectable on the spy planes and everything when I'm moving. And if you get a couple of kills, so that's how you control score streaks. So if you've got a couple of kills, you're on a score streak. Technically, it doesn't matter, nobody can see me. And then I like Ninja. I tried this one for a little bit, but it's more that you can hack fields, and I really don't bother with any of the other stuff. It says there that you won't trigger mines or the gas mines, but I have the other two perks on in here, so they don't bother me anyway. So I think that combo of perks is great. So I feel like even before I get into the weapon, these work so well now that it gives me a massive advantage. And like when I go into the mods, I don't feel like I'm losing anything on the weapon, and for me that's why the MP5 is so good. Secondary, I really don't ever use. like I was saying last night, so I use flashbangs. I think they're brilliant, not because they actually flash people, but what you can do is if you're coming up to somewhere and you're not sure if someone's like in the tunnel or a room ahead of you, or even just part of the map, if you throw one of these, it doesn't even matter if they're stunned, it'll come up and tell you that they're flashed, so it actually tells you if somebody is around the corner or in the next room or in the tunnel. And if you are close by, they're stunned, so you have a bit of an advantage in the 50-50s. I would really like to get into the habit of using this, but every time I do it, I get into a battle, and even if I'm running away, I forget to use it. So at the minute, while I get used to the gun and the loadouts, I'm not going to try using this. But I think if you do have time, I do think the stim shot would get you out a lot of holes, particularly with the SMGs, because you run faster. So when you're shooting at me, if I'm taking damage and I can get away, stim shot would be brilliant just to top up, because I can get straight back into the fight. But at the minute, I just can't use it well enough. So flashbang for me, but again, it's not to actually stun them or use that effect, it's more to tell me if someone's in the room ahead whether I should go charging in or not. That's that. Frags, I think are brilliant. I think I'm going to give the Tomahawk a go after last night because it's a one-shot kill, but what I like about the frags more than any of the other stuff is you can cook it, so you can decide how quickly it'll explode, and you can bounce it off walls, and the bouncing off walls for me is gold. The amount of times that I'm hunked down, like, so Semtex is great and it's funny when you stick them, but like, I can bounce a frag grenade around a door into a room, and that gets me a lot of kills as well. Gas mine you probably don't have yet, but gas mine are really effective compared to any of the other things. So because these come back a lot, I was getting into enjoying the jammer because you could stick it down in a room, people wouldn't know you was there, and you'd get the kill. But what I'm using gas mines for now, because I have the perk on that these come back really fast, I just stick them in one of the doors that I'm trying to hold down a room, and that literally is like someone covering that door for me, because if it doesn't kill them completely, it practically wipes out all their health. So that's that. Okay, so for this one, this is my run and gun. So the brilliant thing, straight off, is that the iron sights are not that bad. They're very usable. I didn't have any sight on last night, so when I am playing, I'm conscious that I don't want to be taking people on in too big of a distance. But with all the way the map's formed, there's always ways to get to people without kind of running into open space. So part of that is learning the maps. So I don't run an optic on this because when I'm using this, I want to be fighting people pretty close, and the iron sights are very manageable. The muzzles I don't find much use. Now the barrels are really important. So you won't have all these yet, but there's two. So you unlock this one pretty quickly, and that gives you a 40% bullet velocity. So when you get to that stage, you'll notice a difference. I can't remember what level that unlocks, but it does unlock pretty quickly. And then there's a lot of kind of crap. What's the good one? So there's two that I stuck with. So this one's great because you get 100% bullet velocity. This one isn't too bad, but you're starting to kind of get a lot of negatives. So in there it says minus 20% aim walking movement speed. So I've kind of touched on this. I think it's probably for both you, Dad, and Gav. So with both of you, when you're firing, you're quite static when you fire. And what that aim walking movement speed means, when you're firing, you can walk at the same time, so you can strafe left and right, or at least one direction, because if you stand still, you'll lose more 50-50s because they're finding it much easier to land their shots. Whereas if you're shooting and either moving right or left, or even left and right, depending on the distance, you'll have a huge advantage. So to lose 20% of your aim walking movement speed, that's a lot, because it means that you can't move as quickly away from the bullets, so more bullets will land on you. So be careful of those things as well. This one's okay. It does 100% bullet velocity, so I was running this for a good while. But this one is beautiful. Even though you get in the vertical and horizontal, it's still really easy to manage this weapon. You adjust pretty quickly without really having to put loads of attachments on to manage that, because with the MP5 there isn't a lot of kick on it. There's a bit, but it's manageable. But what you are getting is you're getting 6% damage, bullet velocity, and really importantly, you get extra damage range. So from an SMG that's close quarters, you get this extra bit of range, and it's really noticeable. So for any kind of mid-range combat, then it's already brilliant at close range. Stick this on and it becomes like a medium range as well, and it's really effective. So, and you can make up for your ammo. So this bad boy is the game changer. Like I put this on, and out of anything else, this reveal distance is the one thing that's made a huge difference. So from last week of being kind of average and doing okay, to this week of kicking ass, it was this. Like this one mod made a huge difference. And what it does is, you probably haven't noticed when you're actually not looking for it, but when you fight and someone's running around the map, if they reveal, their name comes above their head. So when they get close enough, that will come up anyway. But with this, it comes up at 40% further away. So you'll know if someone's running through the grass that normally you wouldn't see them, or if they're run into a house, there you'll see this above the head, and it gives you such an advantage in knowing where people are. It's really good. So like even if there's 3 reds, you know, don't go running after one of them because you'll get put down, or you can go around the back of them. It's really good for just spotting them out. So more than anything, this definitely was my game changer this week. Magazine then. So because just because of the minus ammo from using, which one was it? This one? Nope. So here it says that like I'm losing minus 25% of my max starting ammo, which the MP5 does lack good ammo, so I'm back up there above it now. So this gives me 33%, and the ammo capacity is really good because when you're firing, the clips run out pretty quickly. So that extra 33% is probably the difference between getting a kill without reloading. So the reloading thing doesn't bother me too much, because by the time you get used to it and how many bullets are in there, you'll probably be putting people down with like 1 clip, or you'll pretty much know, right, okay, I'm going to run out of ammo now, I need to get into cover. So it's the first one. It's not like one of these hard ones down here, because all of these other ones, the negatives on them pretty much take too much away, like your aim down sight time, reload, aim down sight, aim down sight. So with this one, you're only losing a bit of reload speed, and it doesn't affect anything, but you're countering the other mod, so this works really well. The handle, aim down sight, is always good, just so you can get your gun up definitely mid-range. This is key. And then this one, I like this one, so if I'm running, I get to fire my weapon off quicker than not having this. But I think probably out of them all, you could probably do without this if you preferred to put a scope on it, so your accuracy would be a little bit better. I just find that I move a lot and I run, so there's a lot of time if I get caught out and I didn't see someone and they just appear. This gives me a little bit more time. It reacts quicker to me stopping running and firing. Whereas if I don't have this on, there's a delay from when you sprint, so it has to slow you down and then you fire. So this gives me a 10%, so that's what that does. And like I say, I've got a shotgun on. It really doesn't matter. I'm probably going to change this to maybe the rocket launcher so I can shoot down some of the streaks. But that's it. Like I say, that reveal distance, that was the absolute game changer. It made such a big difference. And like I say, so the other way I've run this, I don't use this much, but if you're struggling then with a bit of distance, sorry, that what I did is I switched to gunfighter, which means I can put all additional slots on my weapon. So you lose a lot of your perks, which I think the perks are more valuable. But if on those maps that are a little bit longer, again, I won't be using the stim shot. So what you get then is you get your optic, which gives you 1.75 magnification. So those mid to longer range matches, then this is much helpful. You'll be landing a lot more of your further away shots. You get all the muzzles and stuff, so this then balances some of the recoil. But like I say, it's not bad anyway. And this is a preference, but I think vertical recoil is way worse than horizontal. I think horizontal is very easy to manage, but I think when your gun's going up and down, that's the ones where it seems to go all over. So vertical would be my vote there. Barrel is the same as we talked about, but even there, so between having the optic on of the 1.75 zoom and the 50% extra damage range. Like it's good. It works really well. Body, everything else. I think I run exactly the same on this. One thing to note on these windows, if you go across here, you get a choice of different reticules, and this also makes a surprising difference to your aim and accuracy. So make sure you keep checking these. I think they're specific to each of the scopes that you put on. So I think every time you change the scope, then you have to start again, ranking these up. But like I find this one, because it literally points at the person that I'm shooting at. Like I haven't tried these out yet, but green seems a bit weird for me, even though it is brighter. There's some maps where it merges in. I like this one, and for me, even something small like that really helped with my accuracy. Don't know why, it just, I found that really good, so keep an eye on that kind of stuff too. But that's it for my build. Like I say, the only reason I'm doing this because it's easier than sending like 50,000 messages and not really explaining why I've done everything. But I think if we all help each other out this time, when we do get into the difficult maps, we'll all be able to kind of go, well, this worked for me. And like, this is just mine. I would consider myself to be a pretty good run and gunner. That's how I've always played. You do have to play way more tactical in this Call of Duty than you have before, so it still works when you're holding down space. But for me, like, I'm not a sniper, my accuracy isn't good. This works for me because it's really fast firing, so if you do end up in a 50-50, this is the best chance of coming out on top against people that are really good and that know what they're doing, because the rate of fire that it puts down is crazy. And like I said, particularly this one, because you get those 6 perks, I just feel like it gives you such a great starting point without losing much on your primary weapon because of the mods. The fact you don't really have to run an optic. Now this will probably change pretty quickly after there's upgrades and buffs and nerfs to the weapon. But right now, out of everything I've tried, nothing can compete with this. And when I put that reveal distance on, it made such a huge difference. Like, that was my first noticeable change in this game. I'm sure everyone will find some. So if we share, like, you tell me what works. You might change something on here, and it might make such a big difference. And that's kind of what I want to do. So then, when we do go on and play people, we'll all have the best advantage of best chance of doing well. The other thing, just while I'm doing this, if you are looking for a long-range weapon that's not a sniper, this DMR14 is pretty good. Again, for me though, even though it's good, it works really well. Like, it takes quite a while to level it up to get things that you need to make it good. The damage is great, but again, like when I'm comparing this to say I can put my SMG class on for any map and I'll have pretty good success. Whereas if I put this on, it's mid to long range. If I get caught, I'd have to be very good to win my 50-50s, and that's what happens way more than any other type of fight that I end up on. And that's probably a little bit down to the way I play. But if you are going to put some time into a longer range weapon, it would be this one. It's a pump action, but it does crazy damage. I think it's like a 2-shot kill, no matter what. But the problem is you've got to land your 2 shots. So it sounds great, but you've got to have pretty good accuracy to land them. What else can I think of? The other thing, do not underestimate the value of hip firing with this. You're probably better off trying to get into the habit of hip firing, and then when you're on target, zooming in, because it's a beast when it works that way, because you're firing even faster then. Right, I'm going to leave it there. What I'll do is I'll leave this as my build. I'll try and do a gameplay to show it, but I'll see how that goes.